Taxes are going to be the biggest expense of your lifetime. So, why is it that you owe the IRS? Even if you have taxes withheld from your paycheck each time you get paid, even if you have taxes withheld from your pension, even if you are self employed and you have so many deductions, why is it that you owe the IRS? Well, each person that owes the IRS owes them for one of two reasons, and sometimes it's a combination of both reasons. Before I get into those two reasons, though, let me introduce myself for those of you that may not know me. My name is Timalyn Bowens, and I'm America's favorite EA. I'm also the owner of Bowens Tax Solutions, which is a virtual firm based in Louisville, Kentucky, and we specialize in helping taxpayers who owe the IRS $100,000 or more, or they're being audited, levied, or they need a tax lien removed. All right. So I know a little bit about this predicament that you're having right now if you owe the IRS right now in 2024. Reason number one that people owe the IRS is because their withholding is off. Within the US tax system, we have a pay as you go system, and that simply means that as you earn income, the United States government is expecting you to pay taxes on that income. That's why, if you are a wage earner, or let's say that you receive a pension, Social Security, you have the option to have taxes withheld. And if you think about it, if you're a wage earner, there are certain taxes where you don't have the option. For example, with Social Security and Medicare, you don't have an option to opt out of those things when you are earning income. Now, on the flip side of that, for those of you who are self employed, the reason that you find yourself owing, even though you have so many deductions, is because your estimated tax payments either aren't being made or the calculation is off. You see, when you're self employed, you have to pay what's called self employment tax. And because you're not getting paid checks per se, depending on the type of work you're doing, it is your responsibility to pay in as you earn in our pay as you go US tax system. So, with that, your requirement is to make quarterly estimated tax payments. All right. So, that's 4 times a year that you're supposed to pay in towards your tax liability. Now, for the majority of self employed people, they aren't aware of this. So, that first year when they make really decent income, they get hit with a surprise tax bill. If that is you, you are in the right place. Or if you're thinking, I'm not self employed, does this still apply to me? Yes, it does. Because you see, what happens is when you fill out a W 4, if you are a wage earner, or you fill out a W 4P if you're receiving a pension or money from an annuity, it asks you how much you want to have withheld. It asks you what your filing status is. And what trips up a lot of taxpayers is when they're filling out the W 4 or the W 4P or the W 4V, right, for Social Security, they are not filling it out correctly because they're not taking into account all streams of income. When you fill out your W 4, if you have multiple jobs or if your household has multiple streams of income, they're going to be taxed on the same tax return. You have to take that into consideration and also fill out line 4C on the W 4. If you're in the situation where you're retired and you're blessed to have multiple streams of income, when you're filling out that W 4P, you have to take into consideration the income of your spouse. And you also have to take into consideration if you're receiving Social Security benefits. Because if you're receiving a pension and Social Security benefits, now part of your Social Security is also going to be taxable. So, the reason again for you owing the IRS in the first place is going to be because either one, your withholding is off, or two, you aren't making estimated tax payments. Now, if you have any questions about any of this at all, please feel free to drop them down in the comments. But in addition to that, If you were listening to this and you said, I understand now why I owe the IRS, but I still can't pay the surprise tax bill that I had no idea was coming up. That is okay. If you've been a compliant taxpayer in the past, the IRS is going to be willing to work with you to set up a payment arrangement. Now, the really popular one that they talk about on the radio and on TV is the offer and compromise, and they call it the Fresh Start program or initiative. Not quite the same thing, okay? But with the offer and compromise, the IRS is going to look at your assets, your age, your ability to earn income, all right? That is a viable option, but a lot of people don't qualify for it. Instead, you can work on getting your debt negotiated with a payment plan. Now, with all payment plans, you don't end up paying in full. And in addition to a payment plan, you're probably looking at ugly penalties and interest as well. If you are watching this right now and you haven't filed your tax return because you know there's going to be a balance, please go ahead and file it timely if you have an extension. The reason being that will help you to avoid unnecessary penalties such as the failure to file penalty. If you're already being hit with that penalty right now, you do have the possibility to get that penalty abated, which simply means removed from your account. If you are looking for a professional to help you with this situation, whether it be getting the penalties removed, setting up a payment arrangement, or seeing if you qualify for an offer and compromise, you are more than welcome to book a call with me and my team at www.bowenstaxsolutions.com, and I'll be sure to leave the link down below in the comments. We'd be more than happy to see if you are going to be a good fit to work with us. But don't forget, even if you don't book a call with me, make sure that you get the help that you need, right? Because back taxes, they shouldn't ruin your life.